Hi and welcome to Run Tall with Tim. I'm Tim. I'm glad you're here. We get to spend a little time together. On today's video, I got a good one for you. It's a shoe battle. I've got the Hoka Clifton 8 going up against the Nike Pegasus 38.
Please won't you come over? Let me get to know ya. Hey, nah. Delve into emotion. Leave us in this moment.
Now both the Hoka Clifton 8 and the Nike Pegasus 38 are really popular running shoes, and they're considered to be flagship shoes for each of the respective companies. They both have a lot of similarities as well as some differences, and we're going to talk about all of those things. But before I get into it too far, I always like to demonstrate what it looks like to run in the shoes I'm about to review for you. So let's do that. But then we're going to meet right back here, and I'm going to go into some depth in comparing these two running shoes to see which one might be right for you. And then at the end of the video, I'm going to give you my pick as my favorite.
Too damn late to reply, so I lost my place in the line to the house of shake, where I was hoping to find a babe. Yeah. Ooh, ooh, ooh. 225 lucky stars on a cheap visit price for this guy who's giving me what I like. When I slide on a beat while we high, but I fell off, landed right on my face. Yeah, can't hear the star killer bass. Yeah, it don't matter, I'm still amazing. I'm fit, see, you don't like me more, so happy having always been. I know it can be frightening to let it go. The south landing, just got home, I've been hovering around the cool kid compound. Started to look real promising, yeah. 225 lucky stars on a cheap visit price for this guy asking me what I like. Would've slide on a beat every night, but I fell off, landed right on my face. Yeah, can't hear the star killer bass. Yeah, it don't matter, I'm still amazing. I'm fit, see, you don't like me more, so happy having always been.
Now both of these are considered to be neutral road shoes. I ordered mine true to size and they fit me great. The Hoka Clifton 8 is the more expensive of the two options. They cost $130 US, while the Nike Pegasus 38 cost $120 US. The Clifton 8s, now they are the lighter of the two shoes. They came in at 8.9 ounces for a men's size 9 on my scales, or 248 grams, while the Nike Pegasus 38, they came in at 10.3 ounces or 291 grams. If you're new to the channel, welcome to the Run Tall family. I'm glad you found us in the vast YouTube universe. Now I post running shoe reviews, comparisons, and shoe battles weekly, but I also like to post other videos about running as well. So if you enjoy watching running shoe reviews and other videos about running, be sure to subscribe to the channel and click the notification bell so that you'll be notified each time that I upload new content. Now this video is not intended to be a full review of either shoe, but if you want to check that out, I'll put a link in the description below to reviews that I've completed for each one previously. So let's start with the upper. I'm going to be looking at the Hoka Clifton 8 first. And here you can see that they used an engineered mesh material. With the Hoka Clifton 8, they have a little bit less room than the Nike Pegasus 38 up in the toe box. They have a little more room across the midfoot section of the shoe. They do have a well-defined heel pocket, so I didn't have any heel slippage, and that's true of both of these shoes. As we turn and we take a look at the side profile of the shoe, you can see that they have lots of perforations that go all the way basically from the toe box back to the heel counter of the shoe. Now these do run a little bit cooler on foot than the Nike Pegasus 38 does. With the Pegasus 38, they have more room up in the toe box. They have less room or a more snugged fit across the midfoot section of the shoe, so it gives you a nice solid lockdown feeling there. I would say that the heel cup That's about the same in each of these. Again, didn't have any heel slippage in either shoe, so I think they did a good job in both cases, being able to keep your heel in place and give you a nice stable feeling when you're out running. As we look at the profile of the shoe, you can see that they do continue these perforations back, maybe not quite as far as in the Hoka Clifton 8, but some of the biggest differences we'll get to in just a minute in terms of the breathability, and it has a lot to do with how they gusseted the tongue on each of these. But right now, let's take a look at the eyelet chain. I'm looking at the Hoka Clifton 8 first. Here you can see it's a real standard eyelet chain. No big wow factor here. Gets the job done. I was able to get locked in and secure across the midfoot section. I just didn't feel like I was wrapped up like a burrito like I do in the other, or in the Nike Pegasus 38. They do have some plastic overlays on the outside to give it a little extra durability, and they do include that extra eyelet in case you want to run with the runner's knot. Now with the Pegasus 38, they have a completely different system here. Now they have this banded system, and you can see that those bands, they wrap around and down into the midsole of the shoe where they're sewed in. So you get this really a cinched in feeling across the midfoot section, which is why I feel like I get a better lockdown feeling in the Pegasus 38 than I do in the Hoka Clifton 8s. And the tongue is padded enough that I don't feel those laces cutting across the midfoot section of the shoe either. So it's still really comfortable. Gives you that solid lockdown feeling without any of the discomfort. And they too included that extra eyelet in case you want to run with a runner's knot. So let's look at the tongue on each of these. Both are really well padded. With the Hoka Clifton 8, now they have a semi-gusseted tongue, but it's really comfortable. You don't have to worry about it migrating around. What's nice about that is that they only have that extra gusset material up around the eyelet chain, so you don't have that extra material running around the toe box, which is why I feel like these run a little cooler on foot than the Pegasus 38 does. It is well padded, so you can see just how thick that is, and I didn't have any issues feeling the laces across the Hoka Clifton 8 either. But as we look at the Pegasus 38, we look at that tongue, again, very well padded, not as padded as what you find in the Hoka Clifton 8, but it has a full gusset, so it gives you a nice booty type feeling to it as you slip these on, so super comfortable that way. But because it's a full gusset and that material goes all the way up around into the toe box, they do run quite a bit warmer on foot. Now to demonstrate a little bit about the room in the toe box as well as the snug down lockdown feeling you get across the midfoot section of the shoe, I pulled the insoles out, and that can sometimes give us an indication of the volume of the shoe that we're looking at. So looking first here at the Hoka Clifton 8, this is the insole out of that shoe. And then as we compare that with the Nike Pegasus 38, and I'll line these up as best that I can, you can see that the Hoka Clifton 8 is quite a bit more narrow up in the toe box compared to the Pegasus 38. Now checking out the padding around the heel collar and the tab of each of these, it's about the same. I didn't notice a big difference in the amount of padding or in the comfort level. They're both really comfortable to run in. I didn't have any hot spots in either shoe. With the Hoka Clifton 8, you can see that they have this extended heel flare here. Neither shoe has a pull tab to help get your shoes on. But with that extended heel flare, now you can grab a hold of that and help get your shoes on should you wish to do so. And then we'll take a look at the heel counter on this shoe, as long as I've got it up on my shoulder. As I give it the pinch test, you can see that it has a lot of resistance there, so a lot of structure to help hold your heel in place and give you some stability. With the Nike Pegasus 38, again, no Achilles heel flare here, at least not an exaggerated one. I'd say it's very slight. It's more of a traditional heel counter, really, in terms of its design. If you want to use that to help get your shoes on, it's not as easy as it is in the Hoka Clifton 8 because there's a lot of material there to grab a hold of, but I didn't have any issues getting these on. So I'm not sure that it was necessary to have such an extended or exaggerated heel flare in the Hoka Clifton 8. And then with the heel counter, let's put it up on my shoulder. I'll give it the pinch test. Not as much resistance there, so not quite as much structure in the heel, but I didn't have any issues with the stability in either shoe for my heel. And with that well-defined heel pocket, I felt like I was pretty safe and secure when I was out running, so I didn't have any heel slippage in either one. So let's compare the midsole on each of these. Starting with the Hoka Clifton 8 first. Here they've got their compression molded EVA foam from the heel to the toe. There's a lot of it. They have 37 millimeter stack height in the heel and 32 millimeters up in the forefoot. So they have a 5 millimeter offset from the heel to the toe. Now that compression EVA molded foam is really soft. It's highly cushioned. It's fun to run in. There's a lot of responsiveness, so I do feel like I'm getting some energy return. They have a slight heel bevel here, but they have an early stage meta rocker. So that just means that they start sculpting that EVA foam right about at the start of your metatarsal head. So that you nice, easy roll through from your foot strike through to your gait cycle. They have a rounded heel. They also have a lot of landing platform, so it's really wide. So they have a wide landing platform up into forefoot, and they continue that width all the way through to the heel. Now with the Pegasus 38, they have React foam from the heel to the toe. They have 33 millimeter stack height in the heel and 23 up in the forefoot for a 10 millimeter offset from the heel to the toe. Because this is an air shoe, it does feature an air zoom unit up in the forefoot. It gives you a little bit of extra pop off the toe as you move through your gait cycle. Now React foam is highly cushioned. It's soft yet still responsive and fun to run in. As we look at the geometry of the shoe, you can see it has a slightly more aggressive heel bevel here, but then it's a little more flat through the midfoot of the shoe and not quite as much of an aggressive arc there up in the forefoot. You can see that it has somewhat of a pointed heel rather than a rounded heel. And then we can see that it does get a bit more narrow there in the midfoot section of the shoe. You do have a nice big wide landing platform here, but they feature more of an hourglass shape or design to it. Now the nice thing I think about having a more snug or narrow midfoot section is that upper does seem to fit a bit more snug across my midfoot, so I do feel a little bit more locked in and secure, in part because of that banded system that we looked at earlier, but also because of the simple geometry of that midsole. So that material really wraps your foot more like a burrito does to help hold you in place and make you feel nice, safe, and secure when you're out running. So let's compare the midsole foam and just see how cushioned it is, or the differences between the cushion or the softness in each one. Starting with the Hoka Clifton 8 first. To do that, I'm just going to use my thumbs, and I understand that this is a bit of a subjective test here rather than objective, but nonetheless, it does give us at least some indication of the cushion or softness that you have underfoot. So using my thumbs to try to compress that midsole foam, here you can see, it compresses fairly easily, so it is pretty cushioned. It is soft to run in. Now, as I do the same test with the Pegasus 38, using my thumbs to try to compress that React foam, it feels just more dense to me. So not nearly as soft or cushioned to run in as what I found in the Hoka Clifton 8. Also, with the Air Zoom unit, now it feels really comfortable and quick for the first 5 or 6 miles, but then after that, for me, I start to feel or notice that airbag just a little bit more, and it's not nearly as comfortable as it was when I started to run. So let's check out the flexibility or the stiffness of the midsole. To do that, I'm going to just press on the toe box here and see how easily that flexes. And you can see that there's a lot of resistance there. So it is pretty stiff up here. And then also, I'm going to give it a little bit of a twist test. And you can see that there's a lot of resistance when I try to twist that midsole as well. And then as we take a look at the Pegasus 38, I'm going to try to do or replicate the same test here. I'm just going to press on the toe box. I'd say it's about the same. So they're both pretty stiff up there in the forefoot. One of the biggest differences I noticed, however, is in the twist test. It's far more loose here on the Pegasus 38 than it is in the Hoka Clifton 8. So you're going to find that the Hoka Clifton 8 is going to be a slightly more stable ride than you're going to find in the Pegasus 38. So let's flip these over and we'll take a look at the outsole, see how they're protecting all of the soft midsole foam that we just looked at. Starting with the Hoka Clifton 8 first. Here you can see that they do have plenty of rubber here, but they used it more strategically in just the areas that would be considered high abrasion. I think they got it just about right, and you can see that they have it running on somewhat of a diagonal pattern. Now I've had these out in all kinds of condition, all kinds of environments, and I found that the outsole has done a really good job in helping me feel safe and secure when I've been out running. As we take a look at the Pegasus 38, there's really not much comparison here because you can see that they have it covered in rubber from heel to toe. Frankly, I think they got probably more than what you really need there, so they're adding some extra weight that you probably don't necessarily have to have. But in terms of durability, man, you can't beat it. These shoes are going to last a long time. That rubber is going to protect that React foam, and you can see that there's just a ton of it there. Now, I will say that in both of these shoes, running out on pavement, they did a really great job. Oftentimes though, I kind of go off-road and I run on some gravel and sometimes some not necessarily rustic trails, but some trails that might be a little bit wet or have a little bit of mud to them. And I found that the Hoka Clifton 8s actually did a little bit better in not sliding quite as much as I found with the Pegasus 38s. Now, overall, both of these are terrific daily training running shoes, and I don't think it could go wrong with either one. I think they're both worth the money that they're asking for them, and it's really no surprise to me that they're so popular among runners. But there was a clear winner here for me, and that's the Hoka Clifton 8. You know, they're a little lighter, they're a lot cooler to run in, but most importantly, they fit my gait cycle the best. And that's really the bottom line. The best shoe for you is going to be the one that fits you the best. Hey, thanks for watching and making it to the end of the video. I appreciate it. I hope you enjoyed it. I enjoyed making it for you. As always, run tall, run strong, be kind to one another. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.
Too damn late to reply, so I lost my place in the line to the house of shake, where I was holding